He stood straight. Uniform crisp. The president raised his hand for a salute, but the airman didn't return it. Silence hit the tarmac. Cameras stopped clicking. Everyone froze. What just happened? This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't hesitation. It was a bold refusal. But why would a decorated American airman break military tradition and refuse to salute the President of the United States? His answer shook everyone. And it might just change the way you see loyalty, duty, and truth. Let's take you into the full story, one that shocked the nation. It was a picture-perfect morning at Andrews Air Force Base. The kind of morning where everything seems too calm, too quiet. The sky was clear, the wind barely a breeze, and the tarmac shimmered under the soft golden sun. Birds flew in formation overhead. Ground crews stood at attention. The flags fluttered gently on their poles. But something historic was about to happen, and no one had a clue. At exactly 9:04 a.m., the distinct sound of rotors slicing through the sky cut through the silence. All eyes turned skyward. Marine One, the iconic green and white helicopter that carries the President of the United States, hovered into view. It made a smooth descent, its landing gear kissing the concrete with precision. A flurry of Secret Service agents immediately stepped into their routine, one team securing the perimeter, another opening the helicopter door. Then, the moment. Wearing his signature dark suit and red tie, President Donald J. Trump stepped out, waving to the cameras. His presence was commanding. Whatever you think of him, you feel it when he enters a space. Photographers clicked like machine guns, capturing every angle, every breath. Lined up ahead of him, a group of airmen, handpicked for this ceremonial duty. Their uniforms were flawless. Boots polished to a mirror shine. Not a single thread out of place. Every man and woman stood frozen, back straight, hands perfectly aligned at their sides. They knew what to do. The drill was precise: when the president walks past, you salute. He salutes back. It's tradition. It's respect. It's American military protocol. But that day, one airman didn't follow the script. His name? Airman First Class David McAllister. Just 24 years old. Clean record. Multiple commendations. A rising star in the Air Force. He was fourth in line. And as the president approached, one by one, the airmen raised their right hands in perfect synchronization. Until David. He stood still. No salute. No movement. Not even a flinch. Trump lifted his hand, pausing in front of him. Holding the salute. Waiting. But David didn't respond. His arms remained firmly at his sides. Eyes forward. Jaw clenched. Still as a statue. You could feel the air shift. Even the ever-disciplined Secret Service agents darted their eyes toward David, their calm masks cracking with confusion. Trump lowered his hand slowly, then continued walking. His face showed nothing. Not anger. Not confusion. Just that blank presidential mask. But everyone around him had seen it. Everyone watching knew, something wasn't right. This wasn't hesitation. This wasn't an accident. This was intentional. And it was loud. Without a single word or action, David had made a statement, in front of the president, the military, the cameras, and now the entire world. Only moments later, a press photographer from a major news outlet reviewed his burst of photos. He zoomed in. Saw the unusual posture. The missing salute. He uploaded a still frame to Twitter with the caption, "Unsaluted." Within 30 minutes, that one image had over 20,000 retweets. Within an hour, it was on every news feed from CNN to Fox. Hashtag unsaluted, hashtag silent rebellion, hashtag Airman David. These hashtags flooded every platform. Talk shows broke in with special segments. Commentators argued about what it meant. Was this protest? A political message? A breakdown in military decorum? Back at the base, David was immediately pulled from the lineup and quietly escorted inside. No cuffs. No yelling. Just quiet tension, the kind you only feel when something big is brewing under the surface. He didn't speak to anyone. Didn't offer an explanation. Just sat in a debriefing room, waiting. Some officers believed he'd just ended his career. Others whispered, maybe he knows something we don't. And here's the twist. This wasn't some rebellious recruit with an attitude. David was one of the most respected airmen on base. He had recently led a fire evacuation drill that saved 3 technicians during a hangar malfunction. He was known for saluting everything, from the flag to a passing general's dog. So why not now? Why this moment? Why this president? The nation didn't know it yet, but this wasn't about disrespect. This wasn't political theater. This was personal. This was pain. And David's silence would soon speak louder than any speech ever could. Stay tuned, because his reason will shake you. And it might just change the way you see duty, sacrifice, and truth. David McAllister wasn't just another airman. To those who served beside him, he was the standard. The guy you wanted next to you in a crisis. The guy who didn't just follow the rules, he lived them. Born and raised in the quiet farmlands of rural Ohio, David grew up with simple values: loyalty, discipline, and service. His father was a firefighter. His mother a nurse. He was the kind of kid who volunteered to shovel snow off his neighbor's driveway before school, who stood up for the kid getting picked on in the hallway, even if it meant detention. To him, serving others wasn't optional. It was the only way to live. The moment he turned 18, he didn't throw a party. He went to the recruiter's office. Signed the papers. And by the time his high school friends were still figuring out college dorms, David was already in boot camp, making a name for himself. It didn't take long for people to notice. Sharp. Focused. Calm under pressure. And above all, fiercely respectful. Just a few months before that morning at Andrews Air Force Base, David was awarded a Commendation Medal. Why? During a nighttime maintenance drill, a small fire broke out in Hangar 9. Most airmen panicked. David didn't. He rushed in, helped evacuate 3 trapped crew members, and stayed behind to direct the response team, even as smoke filled the building. His commanding officer said, "If I had 100 like David, the Air Force would never need to worry." His friends would joke that he'd salute the American flag even during a hurricane. One of them even said, David would salute a flag in a thunderstorm, and mean it every time. So when he didn't return the president's salute that day, people were stunned. Confused. Some even angry. Was it defiance? Political rebellion? A protest? What could possibly make him, of all people, break such a sacred tradition? The military said nothing. No press conference. No official comment. David was simply removed from duty. Quietly. No noise. No headlines. Just taken out of the public eye. And for 3 days, the country buzzed with speculation. Talk shows debated it. Veterans posted emotional responses online. Some accused David of dishonoring the uniform. Others called him a silent hero. But no one had answers. Until David himself broke the silence. 3 days after the incident, a video appeared on his private social media account. No background music. No dramatic lighting. Just David. In uniform. sitting at the edge of his bed, looking straight into the camera. He took a deep breath, and then said the words that would change everything. "I know people are confused, maybe even angry. I understand. But I didn't do this out of hate. I didn't do this to make a scene. I did it because I had to. Because of something that hurt more than anyone knows." He paused. You could see the weight in his eyes. The kind of pain that doesn't come from anger, but from loss. What he revealed next would send shockwaves across the country. This wasn't about disrespect. This wasn't about politics. This was about family. Loss. And a system that failed someone he loved. And once the world heard the truth, it would never forget the name David McAllister. He sat in a modest, dimly lit room. No flags behind him. No PR team. Just truth. Airman First Class David McAllister wore his uniform, but his eyes carried the real weight, the kind of weight no metal could lift. He looked straight into the camera. No script. Just heart. "I know what I did shocked people," he began. "And I know I'll be judged for it. But I didn't refuse the salute out of hate. I refused it out of truth." A pause. A deep breath. Then, the world heard the story behind the silence. David revealed something no one had expected. Weeks before the incident, his 19-year-old younger brother, Tyler, had died. Not in combat. Not in an accident. But on a hospital floor, waiting for emergency care from the VA system. A system he never got access to. A system that failed him. Tyler had been preparing to join the military, just like David. He was proud, passionate, and believed in service. But when he developed sudden complications, and turned to the government hospital for help, he was put on a wait list. That wait cost him everything. David continued, his voice breaking slightly, "My brother trusted the system. He believed serving his country meant something. But when he needed the country back, it didn't show up. The screen was silent. The internet, stunned. David didn't raise his voice. He didn't demand revenge. But every word carried thunder. He explained that the VA delays were part of a wider pattern, the result of budget cuts and bureaucratic reshuffling during the Trump administration. His brother's death wasn't a tragedy. It was a consequence. "I'm not anti-America," David said. "I love this country. I've dedicated my life to it. I'd give my life for it. But I won't give a salute to someone I believe dishonored my brother's sacrifice." That was it. No drama. No slogans. Just a soldier, in uniform, choosing truth over tradition. And in that moment, the world stopped seeing him as just the airman who didn't salute. And started seeing him as the brother who couldn't stay silent. The moment David McAllister's video hit the internet, everything exploded. Within minutes, news anchors were scrambling, headlines were changing, and social media platforms were set on fire. Some people called him a traitor, accusing him of shaming the uniform, disrespecting the president, and violating the sacred code of military conduct. But for others, David was a hero, a soldier brave enough to speak what so many only whispered. A man who didn't just wear the uniform, but gave it meaning. The military veteran community? Split right down the middle. Decorated officers wrote long open letters, some in support, some in outrage. He dishonored the chain of command, one retired colonel claimed. "No," replied another, "he honored something even higher, his conscience." Twitter and TikTok lit up with debates, duets, reactions. Hashtags like #SaluteOrStand, #SilentSalute, and #David McAllister trended globally.